Hello everybody, welcome to my channel. I'm Chuck, and today I want to tell a story about a stolen guitar. Back in the day, we had the normal high school rock and roll band. Two guitar players, myself, my other guitar player, bass player, and a drummer. And of course there's other high school bands, so we'd have the state park, you go down there and everybody would be drinking, smoking, playing, and we're 16, 17, and fantastic time. And now we're a little bit older, we're out of high school, and you got the bar scene, so you're always hanging out to the bar, and we're still rocking and rolling. And I get the worst phone call you could get as a band member or a guitar player. Guitar player calls up and says, "Dude, Chuck, my guitar got stolen." Oh my God, dude, no. Well, there's other things that were stolen too, but he goes, the main thing is, my guitar, Gibson Black Beauty, also known as the Fretless Wonder. It was a limited edition run guitar gone. Oh my God, well, thank God he's got other guitars to use, but that was, the favorite guitar. It's like, oh, your heart sinks, it's the worst thing that can happen as a guitar player, as a musician. You come home and you find your space violated, your guitar is gone, and now you got to call the cops, Back in the 80s, 1980s, smoking pot and drinking beer, and you don't want to call the cops for anything. You don't want to be on the radar, good or bad. So now the cops are involved in any suspects, and well, we'll change the names to protect the guilty, but well, yeah, we'd this is out in Geezer Crust, and Jethro Tomato was a prime suspect. He was at the time great guitar player. Let's give credit where credit is due. He's a great guitar player, Outlaws, Congrats and High Tides, the lead solos, note for note, Slash, note for note. Very talented, but he had one major flaw. He liked to steal. And being a musician, there's a camaraderie, I feel, as a musician, that you don't steal from musicians. You don't steal, period. But it's a brotherhood. You definitely don't steal, and you don't steal from one another. That's just, that's not cool. You gotta watch your guitar every second when you're playing out. You gotta watch all your stuff. No, gotta go have a good time. You don't need to be worrying all the time. So the guitar got stolen, and the suspect's name was given to the police, and I'm not sure quite how long it was after that. It could be possibly 6 months to a year. Keep your friends close, keep your enemies closer. We knew, had a good idea he was playing in a band with that stolen guitar. We started hearing rumors, Jethro Tomato Head's got this new awesome Les Paul thing, plays like a dream, it's like, okay, we kind of looked at it from a long ways away. One time they're playing, and it was a clear Les Paul. It was not the starburst finish Les Paul. And had a picture of it. And the one thing that you can't take away from wood is the wood grain. And there was this funny knot in the guitar. And he said, "Look at that knot. It's like, kind of like an ugly knot, but it's an identifier, because no other guitar in the world has a knot. Especially you think Gibson guitars are not going to throw out a guitar with a big old knot in it, but maybe it's it wasn't a second, and nothing would stand on it. It was a first guitar. And so we're partying, and I decided I had a lot of parties at my house. We had set up the band. First we just play for ourselves with a couple 6-packs. The next thing got to be a case. Next thing you know, you got a quarter keg, and there's all your buddies are hanging out, and they call your buddies, and it's Friday night. Next thing you know, half a keg and 200 people at your house. And all his band members were there except for Jethro Tomato Head, the bass player, the drummer, the singer. Excuse me. And so we're up in my room smoking some weed and all that, and we start talking about, Jethro Tomato Head and the stolen guitar. We think he did it and all that. And these guys, are all probably coked up, I probably imagine at that time. Well, a little more coke. Just tell us a little more about Jethro Tomato Head. Yeah, he stole that guitar from Mike, and then he brought it over and refinished it. He took everything off of it and sanded it down and made it look like a totally new guitar. Okay, we got the proof. we're grinning. It's like, let's call the cops up, and the guy will be arrested, and the bandmate will get his guitar back. So make the call to the cops and say, yeah, Jethro Tomato Head has got the guitar in there, and he's already on your books as a leading suspect. It's at his house. Can you go get it? And they're like, no. What do you mean, no? We can't go out to his house and just barge in. You'd have to have search warrants and everything like that. I said, okay, well, let's get a search warrant. He's like, well, that's up to you guys. You got to get a lawyer and all that. It's like, oh my God, this sounds like a long process and money that we don't have. So it's like, okay, let's take the law into our own hands. The law enforcement failed us. We want the guitar back. We know he's got it. So I called Jethro Tomato Head up, and I go, hey, let's do some jamming. And much to my surprise, he goes, okay. I've never jammed with this guy before. He was always what I thought in a different league than I was. Why he actually chose to jam with me, I don't know, but he's like, I made the offer, hey, let's get together and, practice and see what we can come up with, And I doubt I was probably as blunt as to say, bring the stolen guitar with you. And, I'm going to, you don't want to scare somebody with a comment like that. So I was like, let's practice. And, okay. So Friday night, my guitar buddy in the band, there's a popular trail called Winchester's Trail in Geezer Crust, way in the back. It's in between a couple houses. You drive down this trail, beautiful party spot. This was, there's been so many cases of beer drunk there, so many kegs, it's not even funny, but that's the spot you would go out of the housing development and party. So we went down the trail and dropped my buddy off. Said, okay, we'll go pick him up and we'll bring him back here in the woods. And, why you can get him here? I said, let's go get high. We're going to go get high. And we'll bring him back. So sure enough, we leave Mike in the woods. We drive back to Jethro's house, Jethro Tomato Head. Pick him up. He's got the guitar. I haven't actually seen it yet. He puts the guitar in the car. We were driving my buddy's Camaro. Had a pretty decent 350. It could get out of its own way if I had to. It's a, hey, Jethro Tomato Head, you want to get high? Let's smoke some pot before we go over and manage. We can't, his mother and all that bullshit. We can't smoke in the house, so let's go up down the Winchester's Trail. Let's get high. It's like, yeah, that sounds like a great idea. He's, a burner. And we drive down the trail, and it took a couple minutes for my buddy to appear. It's like, he's out in the woods taking a dump. Here we got the criminal in the car. Well, he finally comes back, and all of a sudden, he might be starting to catch on, because all of a sudden he's like, hey there, Michael, what's going on? Hey, Jethro Tomato Head. You would think Jethro Tomato would kind of really be wondering why this dude's coming out of the woods. And so now the car's on the table, so I can look at, open up the case of the guitar, and let's take a look at it. It opens it up. Sure enough, there's the knot that you can't sand out of the guitar plain as a day. And it was, like I said, refinished, so all the beautiful finish Gibson had was off of it. He did clear coat it, but come on. The guitar was in a ruined shape. But we knew from the identifying knot that it was 100% the guitar. There's no denying that. Gibson checked the serial numbers. There were none. The serial numbers were ground out of the guitar. Gibson did not, like the newer guitars, they use stamps. Back in the day, they used embossing. So he was smart enough to remove the serial numbers, but of course there's going to be a big giant divot. And it's a huge divot. So my intentions were basically, after identification of the guitar, was to kick the shit out of this guy for stealing it. I could, make the story really flamboyant. Yeah, we kicked the shit out of him and fucking got in the guitar and took off. But basically, after we knew that was our guitar, it's like, okay, guitar case is closed, and we just all got in the car and started taking off. And he's hanging on the door of the Camaro as we're taking off. And I remember my buddy just like kicking him off the door into the woods. And it's lucky that we didn't stop the car with three of us and kick the fucking shit right out of him. I might have to edit that out. He's lucky that we didn't stop the car and get out and kick the crap out of him. We just took off. The next day, I get a phone call from the police department. We got a warrant for your arrest. For what? For stealing Jethro's Tomato Head's guitar. It's like, that was my buddy's guitar. Well, it doesn't matter. He says you stole his guitar. That's grand larceny, and we're going to come and arrest you. And I was like, wait a minute. I call my buddy up. You don't have to come and arrest us. Everything is on file. From when the guitar got stolen, the prime suspect, this guy is the prime suspect that's calling you saying you stole a guitar. So tell you what, we'll bring the guitar right down to the police station. And then you guys can decide whose guitar it is. Well, in the meantime, since there were no serial numbers, my grandfather's basement had the embossers. So first thing we did when we got the guitars, we went over to my grandfather's basement, took out the embossed numbers, 1, 0, 3, 5, 7, 9, hammered them back into the headstock. Now the guitar, by all rights, is legally the owner's guitar again. It's the original serial numbers. I filed with Gibson USA, the dealer, and on the receipt that brought to the police station, the Gibson Les Paul, the receipt with the serial numbers now matching. Well, they would have matched anyway, even if you didn't sand them off. And the police called Jethro Tomato Head up, and he's like, oh, yeah. He goes, that's my guitar. And they go, do you got a receipt to prove it? And he goes, yep. And they go, okay, bring it down, and, we'll probably give your guitar back. Well, we're in the police station. They got the guitar, and we're waiting for Jethro Tomato Head, and the police offered us a soda. It's like, wow, we're getting a free soda from the police because Jethro Tomato Head. Well, after, 2 hours goes by, the cops are pretty nice up to a point, but now they're getting perturbed. They're like, look at, Jethro Tomato Head, we're just giving you 2 hours to get down here and prove this is your guitar. You coming down or not? He's like, yeah. I'll be down. Well, they're like, look at, fellows, you don't have to stick around. We're not going to give the guitar away to anybody right now. We'll take all the information we need and we'll make a decision. So you guys can leave. We'll wait for Jethro Tomato Head. And next they called to see what happened. Well, Jethro Tomato Head never made it down with his receipt that he was going to. So 2 weeks goes by. The police call us up. Come back. Come on down. You can get your guitar back. Jethro Tomato Head said 2 weeks to make his case. Your receipt, your proof, and all that is valid enough for us to release the guitar back to you guys. If you want to press charges against Jethro Tomato Head, that's up to you guys. Make a long story short, my buddy did not pursue to press charges. He was so happy to get his guitar back. That was now a fretless wonder by Gibson that was ruined by Jethro Tomato Head when he refinished it. It's just, it doesn't have the same value it would have as a factory finished guitar today. So that is the story of stolen guitar that we recovered. Very rare that you can recover something that was stolen from you. Generally, they're gone. So we're one of the lucky ones that we got the guitar back. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed that story. Jethro Tomato Head.